Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're ranking movies where Superman plays a major role from most to least super. We're excluding straight-to-video releases and the first two film serials.
You wait right there. Don't be afraid. Wait.
Superman. Over 45 years later, Richard Donner's Superman remains the gold standard.
You okay?
Uh-huh.
Not only did the effects make audiences believe a man could fly, but the casting still makes us believe these iconic characters are real. Christopher Reeve is Superman, Margot Kidder is Lois Lane, and Gene Hackman is Lex Luthor, despite refusing to shave his head.
Is that how a warped brain like yours gets its kicks? By planning the death of innocent people?
No. By causing the death of innocent people.
The film certainly isn't without corny moments, not to mention lapses in logic like reversing time by spinning the Earth backward. Yet this was arguably the first superhero movie to take its subject seriously, as Clark Kent grapples with being an outsider on a foreign planet, sacrificing his personal happiness for the sake of humanity, and not being able to save everyone even with all his powers.
I could embrace you in my arms. My son.
Superman 2. Although roughly 75% was already in the can, Richard Donner was infamously kicked off Superman 2, with Richard Lester reshooting much of the footage.
Well, it just seems kind of strange to me that every time Superman's around, you disappear.
Superman? You mean he was here?
Mm-hmm.
Golly.
Despite the chaotic production, the theatrical version and the Richard Donner cut, released in 2006, both have their merits.
Superman, where? Who is this Superman?
You'll find out, General. And when you do...
Come to me, Superman. If you dare, I defy you. Come and kneel before Zod.
Whichever you prefer, this sequel continues to flesh out Superman as a character, presenting the moral quandary of giving up his powers and responsibilities in the name of love.
For the first time in my life, everything's clear.
Of course, this occurs just as Superman faces his greatest physical challenge yet in General Zod, played by the great Terrence Stamp. Like its predecessor, the ending is another cop-out, this time sealing the deal with a memory-wiping kiss. It still would have been a better note to go out on than what followed. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Whereas both versions of Superman 2 are worth examining, this is one director's cut that completely eclipses what theatergoers got.
I have a second chance, Lo. I am not gonna waste it.
Following a years-long fan campaign, Zack Snyder delivered a Herculean epic for those who never lost faith. Above all else, Snyder made a film for his daughter Autumn, whose tragic death initially pulled him away from the project.
Kal-El, no!
In addition to capturing the gravitas missing from the theatrical cut, Snyder restores essential character development for Cyborg, Steppenwolf, and yes, Superman. The black suit not only symbolizes Superman's resurrection, but the revitalization of an artist at last bringing their vision to fruition. It sadly couldn't revive the DCEU, instead marking the beginning of the end. What a triumphant note for Snyder to go out on, though. Man of Steel. Polarizing upon release, Man of Steel set a tone for the divisive DCEU. Looking back over a decade later, the film's strengths are also its weaknesses.
You just have to decide what kind of man you want to grow up to be, Clark, because whoever that man is, good character or bad, he's going to change the world.
While a darker, more grounded take on Superman is refreshing, much of the optimism and hope associated with the character is sacrificed.
Get inside. It's not safe.
The film contains possibly the most mind-blowing action sequences in Superman's filmography, taking advantage of modern technology and the titular character's phenomenal powers. It's friggin' awesome, until you consider the countless civilian lives endangered and trillions in damage caused. We wouldn't mind so much if Superman ever reflected on his reckless actions, but even after breaking his nemesis's neck, he quickly brushes it off. The results are more concerned with looking cool than understanding who Superman is.
Boss, you can save a cow. You can save all of them.
Superman Returns. This long-delayed sequel sets itself in the same continuity as the Christopher Reeve movies, ignoring everything after Superman 2.
Is everyone all right?
The admiration for those first two films is on full display, and a handful of action sequences stand out. To get to these highlights, though, we need to sit through numerous needlessly drawn-out moments.
I read the article, Lois.
Yeah, so did a lot of people. Tomorrow night they're giving me the Pulitzer.
Why did you write it?
How could you leave us like that?
We could forgive the slower pacing if we were more invested in the characters, but despite the best efforts of Brandon Routh and Kate Bosworth, both look like they're cosplaying as Superman and Lois Lane. The only actor who hits their mark is Kevin Spacey, who is equally funny and menacing as Lex Luthor.
But maybe you're right. Maybe it is a little cold. It's, what's the word I'm searching for? It's a little alien.
That said, his presence also brings an uncomfortable factor now. Did we mention Bryan Singer directed this too?
You wrote that the world doesn't need a savior. But every day I hear people crying for one.
Superman and the Mole Men. Predating Richard Donner's film by almost 3 decades, this feature saw George Reeves don the cape for the first time.
What do you want? Don't be afraid.
At only 58 minutes, it was essentially a proof of concept for the subsequent TV series, later being re-edited into a 2-parter. While Reeves naturally charms as Superman, there surprisingly isn't much of him here. More focus is given to the titular Mole Men, who are apparently so frightening they give people heart attacks. Of course, they look more like munchkins wearing footy pajamas and bald caps. The true villains are the ignorant townsfolk, who don't take kindly to Mole or Superman.
You're gonna step aside or we have to make trouble.
Put some lead in him, Luke.
Mr. Benson tried that once already. It didn't work.
Although a product of its time, there is a campy B-movie appeal for those in the right frame of mind.
It's almost as if they were saying, you live your lives, and we'll live ours.
Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. We're not gonna act like Batman vs. Superman isn't without good elements, namely Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne.
That son of a bitch brought the war to us 2 years ago. Jesus, Alfred, count the dead. Thousands of people. What's next? Millions?
Even with the director's cut fixing some issues, though, let's be honest, this bleak, convoluted crossover gets more wrong than right, especially concerning Superman. We want to see these heroes clash because of their differing ideologies. Having Superman be gloomier than Batman misses the point.
She was my world. And you took her from me.
This cinematic universe introduces the death of Superman arc way too early, removing any dread that he won't come back. Lois is again reduced to a damsel who repeatedly gets herself into stupid situations. Oh, and Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor? Even this movie's most outspoken apologists know this was a misfire that sadly could have worked if Eisenberg channeled Mark Zuckerberg, a real-life Lex.
Hello, break the bad news.
Justice League. At first, some were lenient toward Justice League, feeling the film wasn't as bad as it could have been given the disastrous production.
What was it like? Coming back?
Itchy.
The longer we let the movie sit, though, the clearer it became just how messy this bomb was, especially compared to the superior Snyder cut. Joss Whedon might have directed the first 2 Avengers movies, but he was the wrong choice to fill Snyder's shoes. Allegations of his toxic on-set behavior aside, Whedon's quippy dialogue and lighthearted approach don't mesh with the darker tone Snyder established.
Well, I knew you didn't bring me back because you like me.
I don't. Not.
The outcome is a Frankenstein's monster of a movie, comprised of pieces that don't go together with several critical aspects left on the cutting room floor. Superman may suffer the most, his presence here being defined by Mustachegate.
Does your thing really stand for hope?
Yes, it does.
Superman 3. The shark jumping point for Christopher Reeve's tenure, this third installment is torn between being a Superman movie and a slapstick comedy starring Richard Pryor, who unfortunately brings none of his comedic genius.
Hey, here's that compound you ordered. Can't imagine what you want with it, but you got it.
What the hell am I afraid for? I'm from Earth.
Pryor's Gus Gorman overshadows Superman, who does have an interesting subplot concerning his dark side.
You always wanted to fly, Kent. Now's your chance.
Even that's mainly played for laughs, however. It's Spider-Man 3 before Spider-Man 3, although with slightly less dancing. As for other key characters, Ma Kent is unceremoniously killed off screen, Lois is lazily sent to Bermuda, and Lex Luthor is replaced with this bland substitute, who, to his credit, gets the only funny line.
I asked you to kill Superman, and you're telling me you couldn't even do that one simple thing.
As Little Ricky says, Superman was in a slump, but could the next film turn things around? Can you survive skiing off a skyscraper?
You can do it, Superman!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. With costs significantly reduced, Superman 4 possesses the worst effects in this quadrilogy.
Hey, look at that.
While the budget accounts for the cheap production values, that doesn't excuse baffling story choices like Clark revealing his secret identity to Lois again, only to erase her memory again. Superman ridding the world of nuclear weapons with little political pushback, the destruction of those weapons creating a fully grown, fully dressed nuclear man who randomly becomes obsessed with Clark's new love interest, who can breathe in space, and the presence of John Cryer as Lenny Luthor.
This is my nephew, Lenny. He worships me.
The dude of steel. Boy, are you gonna get it.
Superman himself is reduced to a blank slate who can do whatever the screenwriters make up.
Вам здесь будет безопаснее, товарищ. До свидания. Счастливого полета.
Reeve tries, but he's lost in what would unfortunately be a final curtain with no drama, laughs, or purpose to exist.
I just wish you could all see the Earth the way that I see it. Because when you really look at it, it's just one world.
What's your Superman rank? And where did you think James Gunn's film will place? Let us know in the comments.